give us some insight into the unpredictable work week. And I don't mean what necessarily made it unpredictable, but what did the unpredictability of the work week do to your diet? Because the way I understood it, you had been planning meals ahead of time, bringing them with you,
Yep.
consuming them whenever you had planned, and uh, shopping and putting together meals at the beginning of the week, and then having meals ready when you would normally eat throughout the day. What about the schedule made that difficult, or was it the fact that the schedule and the unpredictability of your work schedule ended up bringing about a level of stress that pulled you away from consuming the diet that you had planned to consume going into the week?
Probably a combination of both. Um, the There was unpredictability in the schedule where I had a couple of later days, nights that altered my meals and plans. Um, and so, and like, just the schedule, like, if I'm, I get hungry at a certain time later in the day and didn't have, a meal with me, then, and I'm not able to leave, then I'm stuck having junk. So I need to be better prepared with a lot more. I probably need to have, a larger supply of food on hand in the workplace to basically just cover me for multiple meals at a time, rather than just carrying a day's worth of, lunch type situation. I probably need to just pack and put, into the work refrigerator basically a week's worth of meals at a time. It's kind of where I'm thinking I need to go with.
I was going to ask you about the work refrigerator because if you have a place to store your lunch meats, because we were talking about protein being so important as
Yep.
that being the primary nutrient that you want to focus on. And when you do get hungry, if you can turn to the protein and load up on a significant amount of protein, that can quell your hunger while staying very consistent with the diet, because you're giving your body a nutrient that it's going to use for positive benefit. It's not going to be detrimental in any way, and it's going to extinguish your hunger, allowing you to get through the next few hours before your hunger hits again. So if you have that on hand and you're able to consume it because it's there, then there's no excuse to go elsewhere, to order out or to go out or go through a drive-through, other than having the desire to consume something other than protein because you're trying to uh, extinguish the stress with comfort food. That would be the only reason why you would go outside of the protein. So having that food on hand is of paramount importance, so that it's there and you can make the right choice. So at least when you're faced with that decision, I can go for the protein. I have the decision that I can make. Of course, you could consume nothing. You could just deal with the hunger, but it's a lot easier if you have something there to extinguish the hunger that is consistent with the diet that you plan to follow to lose weight, which would be having a sufficient amount of protein on hand. So you can grab that, consume it quickly. You wouldn't have to prepare it. You don't have to cook it. It's ready to eat. You can just open it, eat it quickly, and then it'll quiet down the hunger, as opposed to not having that on hand. And then you're faced with, was it the fact that I didn't have the protein there? Or was it because I was under so much stress that I decided to make a bad decision when it comes to my next meal, to try and counteract some of that stress with comfort? And you won't know exactly what the motivation is until you have that food on hand. So that way I have the ability to make the right choice, and I made the wrong choice. Then we can deal with that. Then we know exactly what's happening. We know it had nothing to do with you not being armed with enough food and the proper food. It had everything to do with you just wanting to deviate from the diet because you wanted to escape the stress that you were under. So having that, are you able to bring in enough protein so that way you won't run into that situation again and just have it in the refrigerator ready to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to just make that the weekly deal. And instead of doing it a
Awesome.
daily plan, I
Yep.
need to have a weekly deal.
That's fantastic. Okay. That's good. That's what I want the experiment to be next week. I want that to be there. I want all that food to be on hand. I want it to be ready to go. I want it to be in that refrigerator so that way you can turn to that protein when you do get hungry, if you get busy and you're not able to eat one of your planned meals, whatever it is you had in mind. You can just grab that protein, quickly consume that, and know that that's going to help tremendously with hunger. And that should be able to get you through the rest of the time there, unless the motivation then becomes, I'm under so much stress that I need to deviate from the diet to try and counteract that. And we'll deal with that as it comes, but we need to first determine what happens when you have a sufficient amount of the right food available. So that's going to be the next big step. Can you, for next week, or will you be able to stock that refrigerator so that you have what you need there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic.